Welcome to this edition of News Today, a series where we briefly discuss and analyze the important news of the day. Without delay, let's explore the headlines first. India's first solar observatory, Aditya L1, has been successfully placed in an halo orbit around Lagrangian point. Maldives government has suspended 3 ministers for derogatory remarks against Indian Prime Minister. Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has notified revised pharma rules for manufacturing. Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs has approved the launch of Urea Gold. The Minister for Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution has said that India should be a pioneer of standards. A report titled The Role of E-Fuels in Decarbonizing Transport released by the International Energy Agency. Starting with the first news. India's first solar observatory, Aditya L1, has been successfully placed in a halo orbit around Lagrangian point L1. Aditya L1 was launched in 2023 with Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle or PSLV C-57 to study the Sun. It will make observations for 5 years and it carried 7 payloads. ISRO is only the third space agency to station a spacecraft at the L1. The other 2 agencies are NASA and the European Space Agency. ISRO's telemetry tracking and command network has achieved this feat after conducting complex maneuvering. Aditya L1 is placed in an empty space, unlike other satellites that are put into orbits around physical bodies like Earth and Moon. Also, halo orbit is almost perpendicular to the line joining the Earth and the Sun, unlike close orbits around celestial bodies which are either circular or elliptical. Now let's understand about its objectives. It encompasses understanding key phenomena such as coronal heating and solar wind acceleration, and initiation of coronal mass ejection, flares and near-Earth space weather. Additionally, it aims to investigate the solar wind distribution and temperature anisotropy. At last, let's understand about Lagrange points. At these points, gravitational pull of 2 large masses precisely equals the centripetal force required for a small object to move with them. Thus, objects sent there tend to remain stationary, ensuring a continuous, unobstructed view of the Sun. At present, there are 5 Lagrange points. You can explore a comprehensive overview of Aditya L1 by referring to our simplified video dedicated to providing insights into this mission. Moving on to the next news. Maldives government has suspended 3 ministers for derogatory remarks against Indian Prime Minister. Maldives is crucial for India's neighborhood first policy. Maldives also has an India first policy. However, recently certain divergences have been seen. Let's talk about the recent divergences in India-Maldives relations. The President of Maldives chose Turkey, not India, after assuming office as his first foreign destination, unlike past presidents. Maldives' new president has formally requested India to withdraw military personnel from the islands under the India Out campaign. The Maldives did not participate in NSA-level Colombo Security Conclave along with India, Sri Lanka and Mauritius. Maldives has also decided not to renew the Hydrography Cooperation Agreement with India after its expiry in June 2024. India and Maldives share robust and multifaceted relations evident across various domains. In terms of bilateral trade, India solidified its position as Maldives' third largest trade partner in 2021. The 2 nations have established a strong defense collaboration marked by a comprehensive action plan for defense and the annual joint military exercise Equivalent. Illustrating a commitment to the maritime security, India is constructing a new Coast Guard base at Utturu Tilafalu Atoll. Historical instances like Operation Cactus in 1988 aimed at thwarting a coup and Operation Neer in 2014 addressing a water crisis underline India's active involvement in safeguarding Maldives' interests. Furthermore, India is actively engaged in infrastructure development through projects like Greater Malay Connectivity Project. The tourism sector also flourishes, with India emerged as Maldives' leading source market in 2023, attributed to the Open Skies Agreement. Moving on. Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has notified revised pharma rules for manufacturing. The ministry has notified the revised rules to ensure good manufacturing practices, or GMP, and requirements of premises, plant, and equipment of pharmaceutical products. The revised rules are notified under Schedule M of the Drugs and Cosmetics Rules 1945 and will be called Drugs Amendment Rules 2023. Schedule M prescribes GMP for pharmaceutical products and includes requirements of facilities and their maintenance, personnel, manufacture, control and safety testing, storage and transport of material, written procedures and records, and traceability. Before moving further, let's understand about Good Manufacturing Practices or GMP. GMP ensures that products are consistently produced and controlled according to set quality standards. WHO has established detailed guidelines for GMP. In India, the GMP system was first incorporated in 1988 in Schedule M of Drugs and Cosmetics Rules 1945 and was revised in 2018, bringing them on par with WHO standards. If we look into the key highlights of the revised rules, then new categories of drugs have been included for pharmaceutical products containing hazardous substances such as sex hormones, steroids, cytotoxic substances, biological products, radiopharmaceuticals, phytopharmaceuticals, and investigational pharmaceutical products for clinical trials for humans. The implementation timeline is set at 6 and 12 months for large manufacturers and MSMEs respectively. A notable addition is the provision for informing the licensing authority about drug recall, addressing a previously absent mechanism. Also, some other changes introduced includes a pharmaceutical quality system, quality risk management, and a computerized storage system for all drug products. Moving on to the next news. Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs has approved the launch of Urea Gold. Urea Gold will support the other initiative of the government in the sphere of environmentally friendly fertilizers. Urea Gold is a sulfur-coated urea, which is a non-organic slow-release fertilizer and is generally prepared by coating preheated urea granules with molten sulfur. Sulfur coating on it ensures a more gradual release of nitrogen. It prolongs the urea action, thus helping plants to stay greener for a longer time. It also increases efficiency and reduces frequent application of fertilizer, thus enhancing soil health. As per the Indian Council of Agriculture research study, use of sulfur-coated urea leads to reduction in urea consumption by 25%. Environmentally friendly fertilizers or EFF are fertilizers that can reduce environmental pollution from nutrient loss by retarding or even controlling the release of nutrients into soil. These fertilizers also include organic fertilizers such as biocompost and vermicompost. If we talk about the benefits of EFF, then they decrease nitrogen oxide emission and improve water retention and water holding capacity. Also, they increase organic matter and adjust soil pH. Now let's have a look at the initiatives taken in India for environmentally friendly fertilizers. First one is PM Pranam, which is Program for Restoration, Awareness, Nourishment and Amelioration of Mother Earth scheme. Next is the development of nano urea and neem-coated urea. The Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samriddhi Kendra will facilitate these fertilizers. At last, the Gobar Dhan or Galvanizing Organic Bioagro Resources Dhan will help in preparing organic manure. Moving on to the next news. The Minister for Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution has said that India should be a pioneer of standards. Speaking at 77th Foundation Day of Bureau of Indian Standards, the Minister also highlighted recent progress related to standards in India, stating the mandatory jewellery hallmarking covers 343 districts and 90% of jewellery that people are buying is hallmarked, and about 156 quality control orders of 672 products are being processed. If we talk about standards development, then it is the process of creating and establishing agreed upon guidelines or criteria to ensure quality and operability of various products or services. It serves as a cornerstone for economic growth by streamlining processes and ultimately enhances competitiveness. Further, it fosters technological development and also supports innovation. Beyond economic consideration, it also plays a pivotal role in addressing health, safety and environmental concerns. Further now, let's move ahead by understanding about the standards development process in India. This process in India is largely government-led, with the Bureau of Indian Standards acting as national standard body. It was established under Bureau of Indian Standards Act 2016. It is involved in harmonious development of activities of standardization, marking and quality certification. It is administered by the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution, with its minister being President of Bureau of Indian Standards. If we talk about some certification of Bureau of Indian Standards, then it includes the ISI certification, which is used for standard industrial products in India and is mandatory for some products like electronics and voluntary for others. The next one is BIS Hallmark. It is a hallmarking system for the sale of precious metals like gold and silver jewelry, which certify the purity of the metal. Finally, the ECO mark, which is there for labeling of environment-friendly products. Also, some other initiatives for standards development include Standards National Action Plan, Indian National Strategy for Standardization, Quality Council of India and its scheme for accreditation of standards developing organizations, and One Nation, One Standard scheme of Bureau of Indian Standards. Moving ahead, a report titled The Role of E-Fuels in Decarbonizing Transport, released by the International Energy Agency. The report analyzes emerging e-fuel technologies in terms of needed cost reductions, resources, and infrastructure investments to achieve a 10% share of e-fuels in aviation and shipping by 2030. E-fuels like e-methane, e-kerosene, and e-methanol are all fuels in gas or liquid form that are produced from renewable or decarbonized electricity. E-fuels are low-emission fuels since their hydrogen is produced using low-emission electricity, and carbon inputs are obtained in a way that leads to low life cycle greenhouse gas emissions. If we talk about the possible benefits, then there will be reduced emissions, diversification of decarbonization options, and decreased demand for critical minerals needed for battery manufacturing. Now let's have a look at the policy recommendations of the report. Firstly, it suggests to strengthen transport GHG reduction, which targets to stimulate market for e-fuels. Further, it recommends providing support to stimulate e-fuel demand by integrating e-fuels into blending mandates. Furthermore, it emphasizes the importance of addressing challenges associated with e-fuels and fostering a conducive environment for investment. The steps taken by India to promote e-fuels include National Green Hydrogen Mission, which aims for development of green hydrogen production capacity of at least 5 million metric ton per annum. It will help in abating nearly 50 million metric ton of annual greenhouse gas emissions. And next is the permitting of foreign direct investment up to 100% under the automatic route for renewable energy projects. The place in news for today is Saudi Arabia with its capital Riyadh. It is in news as India and Saudi Arabia signed an agreement on annual Hajj pilgrimage. Talking about its political features, the country is located in the Middle East or West Asia and is the largest country in the Arabian Peninsula. Its bordering nations are Jordan, Kuwait, Iraq, UAE, Qatar, Oman, and Yemen, and its bordering water bodies are Persian Gulf and Red Sea. Noteworthy geographical features include Rab al Khali, world's largest continuous sand desert, part of larger Arabian Desert, and Al Nafud as major deserts, Jabal Savda as the highest point. It is the largest country with no permanent river. As we conclude today's main news, let's take a look at some quick updates. So, Amitwa scheme or survey of villages and mapping with improved technology in village areas won the Best Innovation Award for Innovation Sandbox presentation during Public Policy Dialogues 2024. It is a central sector scheme under the Ministry of Panchayati Raj, and its objective is to establish clear ownership of property in rural areas with issuance of legal ownership cards to the property owners. World Economic Situation and Prospects 2024 report published by the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs. The key findings related to India are the UN revised India's GDP growth forecast for the 2024 calendar year to 6.2% from 6.7%. India remains the fastest growing large economy in the world. Investment in South Asia, particularly in India, remains strong in 2023. Researchers in Georgia have created the world's first functional semiconductor made from graphene. For the first time, graphene has shown a band gap property. Band gap is a crucial electronic property that allows semiconductors to switch on and off. Graphene is a two-dimensional single-atom thick layer of carbon atoms bonded in a hexagonal honeycomb lattice structure. Mumbai's Tata Memorial Hospital has established a bioimaging bank for cancer. Throughout it, the hospital is utilizing deep learning and artificial intelligence to craft a cancer-specific tailored algorithm that aids in early-stage cancer detection. Bioimaging Bank aims at creating a robust repository encompassing radiology and pathology images. Researchers at IIT Madras and Mandi have metabolically engineered Nothafodites pneumoniana plant cells to increase production of anti-cancer drug CPT. It is an important anti-cancer drug-led molecule for high-value drugs like irinotecan and topotecan, extracted majorly from Camptotheca acuminata and Nothafodites pneumoniana. Its drawbacks are water insolubility, low targetability, and toxicity to normal tissue. The MV Vasily Golovin, an expedition vessel chartered by India, embarked on its journey to Antarctica for the 43rd Indian Scientific Expedition to Antarctica voyage. It is part of the Indian Antarctic Program of 1981. Under it, research-based stations Dakshin Gangotri in 1983, Maitri in 1988, and Bharati in 2012 have been established. As of today, Maitri and Bharati are fully operational. It is implemented by the National Centre for Polar and Ocean Research. It also comprises members from few partner countries of Colombo Security Conclave. ISRO will launch the European Space Agency's Pioneer Proba 3 mission in 2024. The objective of the mission is to create a 144-meter-long solar coronagraph, an instrument that will allow scientists to study the Sun's corona. It is the world's first precision formation flying mission. It will mimic an artificial eclipse in space, providing a continuous view of the corona. A significant number of migratory birds have arrived in Harike and Gharana wetland recently. The Harike wetland is North India's largest wetland, situated at the confluence of Satluj and Beas rivers in Punjab. It came into existence in 1953 due to the construction of a barrage on river Satluj. It is also a Ramsar site. The Gharana wetland is located on the Indo-Pak border in Jammu district. It is situated along the Central Asian Flyway. It is an important bird area declared by BirdLife International and the Bombay Natural History Society. Before we go, it's time to put your knowledge to the test in today's segment of Test Your Learning. Thank you for joining us. We hope you have enjoyed this edition of News Today. To get the answers to today's quiz and to download the PDF of News Today, make sure to check out the links in the description below.